Hey, and welcome back to Talk a Better Worlds. I'm SirFelixTheCat, and this is The Blender. So today I wanted to kind of do an overview of videos to come. I want to talk about the state of gaming, and basically go over each platform for gaming. Well, the majority of platforms for gaming, because I'm not going to talk about the Steam Deck or something like that. That's going to fall under the PC side. So we have Nintendo, we have Sony, we have Xbox, and we have PC. So, let's get into this. So, first up, we have Nintendo. And right now, Nintendo isn't in the worst spot. We're at the tail end of the Switch's lifespan. We're waiting for the Switch 2 to come out, and we've gone over the fact that there's just endless rumors before. But it's coming. We're going to get an announcement here soon, probably this month. I'd say near the end of the month, closer to Halloween or something like that. I mean, there's still the expectation it's going to drop in, March or April of 2025? So, right now, they're still putting out games. We're probably going to get some sort of showcase from them at some point. It might include the Switch, too. It should. We're going to get more information on it, find out why they call it the Ounce, hopefully. Because that's just the weirdest code name I've ever heard. The Ounce. But yeah, so they're still putting out good games. They have just released the new Zelda game. The one where you actually play as Princess Zelda. They released Mario Party Jamboree. We're going to get Brothership coming out here soon. Looks like they have Donkey Kong Country Returns coming out in January. They have My Sims coming back finally. What else do we have? Going through their list right now. Yeah, they're getting the Lego Horizons game, which is pretty insane. Did not see that one coming. But yeah, they still have games coming out. But for the most part, we're waiting for the Switch 2, which we're going to be getting. I'm actually kind of excited. The next Pokemon game, apparently, according to the latest leak, is coming out for Switch and Switch 2, which I'm glad they're not just going to straight up abandon the Switch, which, I mean, it's Nintendo. They don't really abandon their systems the day a new one comes out. Which is, we're seeing that from all the studios, or all the big platforms now. Sony is still supporting the PS4, Xbox is still supporting the Xbox One. It's nice to see that they're not just dropping these things. But yeah, that's pretty much where Nintendo's at. We're just in a point of waiting while we're still getting, kind of trickles of games coming out. Which, can't complain, I still have a bunch of games to play on my backlog, so I'll be good until a new one comes out. Next up, we have Sony. So, the PS5 came out, and it sold a decent amount of copies. It's not the biggest seller for a console. I don't have one. I personally couldn't be bothered to get one. There are a few games I'd like to get it for, I guess, Baldur's Gate 3. I forget the name of that game all the time. I always want to call it Dragon's Dogma. Oh, yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 would be another one I'd want to get it for. Final Fantasy 15. They do have some hits. But there's still a majority of people out there who just don't feel the need to get one. So what does Sony do? They drop the PS5 Pro. And everybody just says, what? They don't make enough copies. Or enough consoles. They all basically got bought up by scalpers. Oh, who would have guessed? And yeah, they're kind of hurting right now. They need to put out some more successes. I'm sure they're going to. They're going to put out something big that's going to bring people back in. If they do this God of War trilogy remaster collection, that's going to be dope. That's something that people are going to probably buy up right away. We're going to not really talk about the censorship here because pretty sure there is going to be some. There's some pretty adult-themed stuff in the older games, but we'll talk about that when the time comes. Yeah, besides that, Sony they're in a mid-state right now. There's also been rumors that apparently they're showing off the PS6 already, which it's beyond me why you do that when you still have the PS5 and the PS5 Pro, which literally is brand new. I don't get it myself. But then we have Xbox. Xbox is... They're hurting. They're hurting bad. They're coming out with some new games. We just had a showcase the other day, which looked pretty interesting. They showed me a couple games I want to play, like Mouse PI for Hire. That one looks pretty fun. But most of their games, their power comes from Game Pass. And I've been playing Game Pass. My stepson has it, so I figured I would jump on it and play it myself. And I like it. I like playing the cloud version of it. I play it on my Retroid. It's a great place to play cloud gaming. However, they decided to make this great change where they're going to be dropping the Game Pass app and they're going to be going to the Xbox app, which doesn't support cloud. It just supports console streaming, which is a huge waste and it's heavy on the bandwidth, at least for internet purposes. And yeah, that's just them saying like, oh, hey, we have something cool. How can we ruin this? Which is what they did when they had the 360 and announced the Xbox One. They're like, hey, we have something great. Now, how can we ruin that? Let's release the Xbox One. That's just what Xbox does. I don't know why. The upper management probably just needs to be wiped, to be honest. I'm sure there's other people who agree with me and there's people who don't agree with me. But really, something needs to be done with that company. They need to get back on track. They need to stop the whole... Really, if they want to be more profitable and compete with Sony and Nintendo, and yeah, I know, Xbox has more money because they're Microsoft. Yeah, but Microsoft has money. Xbox has to beg for it, and Xbox keeps wasting it. They bought all these big companies, and so far it's been a waste. Starfield came out. It's alright. I've been playing it on the cloud. I'm not really into it. Really, it just makes me mad. I'd rather play something like, I don't know, what else is on there? Oh, Palworld. There we go. I'd rather play Palworld. It's fun. It's a functional game. I don't have to worry about how, frankly, boring it is. But that's just me. I know there's a lot of people out there who like it. You're welcome to like it. But if they want that to be more successful, or at least profitable for them, they're going to need to charge a whole lot more. I mean, people like it because you can pay $1 and get a few months free of Game Pass. And yeah, or a month free or something like that, but they usually let it go on for a couple months, which is really strange. And they're just hemorrhaging money. Like, they could be making tons of money, but they need to charge like 300 something, if not like close to 400. And then they'll start making enough money to where it makes sense, and they'll be able to stop firing all these people, which they are probably the kings of layoffs next to Embracer Group, which is a whole nother story. But yeah, they're coming out with games. They're actually getting the Indiana Jones game is coming out. They're going to have Avowed, which is one I'm really looking forward to, and I'm very upset they delayed because of the backlog. The backlog from a company who hasn't been putting out many games this year. It's very nice of them to think of us for that. They make no sense. But also, they have the new Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, coming out. That's what they're basically placing the whole company's stake on, is this game needs to be a hit, which it's Call of Duty, it's going to sell a bunch of copies, people are going to play it online, and that's going to be it. They created a great story, but 99% of people who play Call of Duty aren't going to touch the story. They're just going to play the online versus mode because that's all they know how to do. It's whatever. Just go play Fortnite. But then we have PC. PC is one that it probably has the best catalog of games. It has the most games. And sadly, it's one that I used to be into, but I can't really be into because of this whole specs issue. I don't have the greatest PC. I'm using a laptop that I got basically just for editing videos. And I can play some games. I have Marvel's Midnight Suns. That's probably the best looking game I can play on my PC. And I'm surprised I actually can play it, to be honest. But I can play Fallout, the older ones. I can't play, I don't think I can even run 3 or 4 on my system. It's that bad. I don't have the graphics capability. But anyways, that's the one thing that gets me away from it. I don't want to have to keep like adding things to my PC. I don't want to have to go through and like a Steam Deck. Steam Deck turns me off because people pitched it as like, oh, hey, this is a cool little way to play PC games handheld. However, you might want to be into tweaking stuff because you're going to have to change a bunch of settings and internal things just to get the game to run. I do that with my Retroid when I'm trying to play like a PS2 game, and it's a mess. I'm not a fan of it. Why would I want to sit here and tweak this game? I mean, the games I'm playing, I could just go grab the disc from sitting on my shelf, get the disc buffed, and possibly play it. However, I'm playing it handheld, which is my preferred way to play games, and I would rather not have to tweak it. Like, let's just get rid of the tweaking things. If games could come out and just basically be like a console, I want a consoleized PC. Not saying that console's better. I understand PC has way more power, way more options, but let's kind of consoleize it to where we don't have to sit here and tweak things. Let's streamline everything, and then PC would be so much more preferred platform to play games on. That's probably my personal issue. I've talked to Hawk about that one, and we kind of agree. We need to streamline them. Consoles need to become more PC-like, and PC needs to become more console-like. Find a nice middle ground, and basically it's going to be one type of platform. That'll be great. That'll be fantastic. And then, you know what? Since I already brought it up with Xbox, we're going to bring up number 5, which is cloud. So, I like cloud gaming. I was one of the people who I had the Founders Edition for the Stadia. Stadia was fantastic. You had to have great internet, and I know a lot of people don't have great internet, which is where a lot of the gripes came from. They didn't have the most games, but they did have great games on there. That's where I learned about certain games. Like, that's probably the platform that got me back into playing indie games, which is when I realized, hey, indie games are currently better than AAA. And yeah, I know they're not as like graphically powerful because there's people out there who will only play games if it's the best graphics. But bro, you're missing out. You are hardcore missing out. You have great, amazing stories. Like talk about an indie game I just beat the other day. I picked it up at random, decided to beat it, which is Metamorphosis. You play as this guy who wakes up and you had a great party last night. You were out drinking. When you wake up, you realize the house is a little weird, and you're at your buddy's house. So you're walking down the hall, and you're starting to notice weird pictures where it's you and your buddy, but then suddenly it's like you, your buddy, and some bug people. And as you're going, you realize things are getting bigger around you. And that's because you are turning into a bug. So I'm pretty sure you're an ant or a grasshopper. I really have no clue what you are. They don't show you. You can see your 2 front legs, and that's really it. But you talk to a bunch of ants. So I'm assuming you're an ant. But it's a first-person platformer puzzle game. And puzzles aren't hard. There's 3 stories to it. This is a very, very well-written story. If you really pay attention to it. It's anti-fascist, which is beautiful. And it's kind of anti-establishment in a way, because you are going against the entire establishment of the place. It's a beautiful game. Beautiful game. I can't compliment it enough, basically. But that's an indie game. It took me maybe 2-3 hours to beat, but I enjoyed every second of it, which is something you don't get from many AAA games. Only other times I get that is, and people are going to hate this answer, maybe Assassin's Creed, because Ubisoft hasn't let me down with an Assassin's Creed. Yeah, they're all different, but I'm also not sitting there being like, well, it's not Black Flag, I'm going to cry and complain. Dude, it's a new game. It's a new game. Who cares? And yeah, I understand Shadows is going to have its gripes. There's people who don't like I understand the Japanese being upset about the picture of them leaning on that one, what is it called? It's like the archway thing, and it's actually like a famous archway in Japan, and it has like cultural significance behind it. I understand them being upset about that. I'm not going to complain about that. That's pretty messed up if that's something that shouldn't be done. I get it. But the game looks great. The gameplay looks fantastic. The characters look fantastic. The stealth kills you can do, they are dope. They are dope. We need more of that, which is something they really haven't done in the series. But anyways, back to cloud gaming. That's where I first played Valhalla. That's where I first played, what's the other one? Not Origins. The Roman one, or Greek one, whatever it is. Completely drawn a blank, and it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's Ubisoft. That's what they do. They were great for Stadia. They put a lot of their games onto it. They also had a bunch of the Far Crys on there. That's where I first played Far Cry 5 and found the greatest glitch where a bear came charging through. Like, I heard this loud noise. Didn't know what was going on. I'm standing in the middle of the forest, and suddenly I see what I call the bear train, because this bear was kind of like glitching out, and it was stretched out. It looked like it might have been like 3 bears stuck together, and it's like charging just straight through a path, which is not even touching the ground, but it's going straight through the forest, and it goes off into oblivion. That was the most insane thing ever, because I was freaking out, like, what is that noise? What is that noise? And then here comes the bear train. Yeah, that's a little side ramble. But we need more platforms like that. I thought Xbox was going to be the one who could come in and like conquer that hole that's in cloud gaming. And sadly, like I said, they're doing everything they can to backtrack on that and not be that spot. There's GeForce Now, which is more of like you buy the game elsewhere and you can stream your game through GeForce, and like they do have some of their own games as well, but that's what most people use it for, is they kind of buy like a Steam game or an Epic game and then they stream it through GeForce Now. That's whatever. I'm glad they're doing something. But yeah, we still have that gap, which is cloud gaming. Maybe someone's going to come through and fix it. It's definitely not Nintendo, at least based off the Switch, because their cloud service is just not great. I don't play cloud gaming. I own one on there, well, 2, because I tried playing Control just for fun, and that wasn't great. But I also had some JRPG, which is cloud only for it, and that's a disaster. That was a waste of time, waste of money. But yeah, that was a brief overview of cloud gaming. Like I said, we're going to be doing separate videos on this. Hawk's going to take over for PC and Xbox, and then I'll be doing the Nintendo and Sony, because I have a lot to say about Sony and where they've come from. But yeah, let us know down in the comments, like, what's your opinions on the state of gaming for all these different companies? Which ones do you like the most? Where would you like to see them go? Because there's a lot of places I like to see them go. I'd like to see Xbox get fixed. I'd like to see Nintendo Switch 2 come out and be like the new best-selling console of all time. After the Switch hits that market, after Jim Ryan raised the marker somehow. I don't believe him, but it's possible. PS2 was a great system. But yeah. So let us know, and until next time, you take care. Hey, thanks for watching.
Give us a like if you enjoyed it, and dislike it if you didn't.
Let us know what you think about the channel.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Tell your mom.